What is up? Twin System recap for Tuesday's games. Thanks for being here. Manuel Margot hits a home run to give the Twins a homer in 20 straight games, setting a franchise record. Hard to believe, with all the great home run hitting teams, all the great home run hitters this team has had in its past. First time it's ever been done. You see here, Correa added a second homer for the Twins, so they got use of those Prince props. Byron Buxton was flashing off his tools in this one. Scored the go-ahead run on this close play at the plate, taking advantage of that speed. Also made a great diving catch coming in on the ball. It's such a tough play in center field. So good to see Byron making plays on the bases and in the field, especially once again after not seeing him out there. And a healthy Byron and a healthy Correa, this is a beautiful thing right now. Simeon Woods Richardson got the start for the Twins. Pitched pretty well, got into the sixth inning. Not his best start, but certainly not his worst start. Velo was popping, though. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. Duran closed it out for the Twins, so nice victory picked up here. Kind of delaying this part of the conversation as far as possible. First off, the good, Royce Lewis did drive in 2 runs with this double here. Huge hit in this game. But unfortunately, the night ends with some sadness towards Royce because he apparently tweaked his groin on this. You can see he's not getting around real well. So this is from Dan Hayes of The Athletic. I picked his thoughts here because he kind of shares what Royce said and then also gives some additional context. Some of how I saw his reaction after the game being shared didn't have this additional context. I really appreciate this. So just going to read the whole thing. Royce Lewis said he's not optimistic, which is kind of where some other people left it. Dan adds, but this needs to be taken with a grain of salt. He's not feeling that way because he's worried about this being a devastating long-term injury. Instead, he's concerned about if the Twins will place him on the injured list. So Royce is not optimistic he's going to avoid the injured list. The Twins are going to be really careful with him. That's kind of understandable. He's a prized piece. He's been injured a lot, so they're not going to push him. So it wouldn't be surprising, no matter how serious this injury is, for the Twins just to say, hey, we're going to sit you down. We're putting you on the injured list. Take some time off. We'll see. But here is the box score, the hitting lines. Byron Buxton walked twice and did not strike out in this game, too. So kind of unusual for him. He's usually such an aggressive guy. Great to see out of him there. And there's the rest of the hitters tonight. On the pitching side, again, Woods Richardson pitches into the 6th inning. Turns it over to Alcala, Jax, and Duran. Will get the job done. Great to see those guys. And then probably tough to see in the bottom there, but I shared that Woods Richardson's baseball savant velo topped out at 96.2 and sat 93.4 with his fastball. Amazing. And he was back. He was at that point at one point, but we hadn't seen him throwing this hard really ever, I don't think, in the Twin system. I don't think we saw him throw this hard on his way up. So great to see that he's regained and is maintaining that velo. And that's really why he's looking like, a very competent MLB pitcher at this point, as he found that back. Kind of with some further good news. We have the Royce. The win is great. Royce being injured, that's another tough pill to swallow. But Bobby Nightingale shared that both Brock Stewart and Justin Topa are throwing. That is amazing for the bullpen. It could be huge boost to a bullpen that's already pretty stellar. And then Aaron Gleeman sharing that the Twins improved to 48-37, and they have actually the American League's best record since that really rough 7-13 start they had. So awesome stuff. Let's turn it over to the minor leagues though. Brooks Lee. We're continuing the awesome stuff. Brooks Lee, he had 5 homers in 38 games with the Saints last year. This was his 7th homer in only 20 games this year. So again, 5 in 38 games last year with the Saints, 7 in 20 so far this year. So this guy is super hot. This was on a full count with 2 outs in the inning too. But Andrew Morris is kind of the big takeaway for the night for me. Pitched really well. 6 1/3 innings. 3 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts. Guy was kind of giving him the stare down. I don't know why the hitter was so annoyed by this, because he stared Morris down all the way over, and then, as things are de-escalating, he's walking back to the dugout, but he's got to give him all his lip, and finally the ump said, "Get out of here." Toss the guy. So good on Morris for kind of not taking anything, but also not escalating that situation to where he got tossed. Pitch, great. Yeah, again, 9 strikeouts in 6 1/3 shutout innings, 95 pitches, 67 of them were strikes. In 7 games with the Wind Surge, he has a 1.17 ERA, a 0.89 whip, 39 strikeouts and 8 walks in 38 1/3 innings. A top 10 prospect on my list, my updated list I shared yesterday, if you missed that. Just on a roll, pitching extremely well. Mad at himself. He gets animated. On a 2-2 pitch, he misses. I think he knew this was his last guy in the top of the 7th. Still tried to talk his way into staying in. I was thinking he might have pulled it off for a minute. But I suspect he knew he was coming out no matter what was happening there. But Andrew Morris, a really fun guy to have in the system. 4th-round pick back in the 2022 draft out of Texas Tech. Really fun. Is a little bit emotional. Not to the extent of like a Matt Cantorino in terms of his mannerisms, but he moves around out there. Walker Jenkins with a 2-run opposite field single here. He had a big game for the Mighty Muscles today. That was his only hit, but he did draw 3 walks and stole 2 bases. But the awkward slide here, this looks like an athlete thinking on his way in, almost like a 2-foot first slide. I wonder if they've told him don't slide head first, and so he's got to think when he's thinking, okay, don't do what's natural. I got to slide feet first. That's a theory. I'm not sure if that is actually true, but that's what it just looked like to me, such an awkward slide. But again, stole 2 bases, drew 3 walks, and he's got 13 walks and 10 strikeouts for the Mighty Muscles this year. So more walks and strikeouts for Walker Jenkins. Here are tonight's starting pitchers in the minor leagues. The Colonels game was postponed. Again, there's that beautiful line from Andrew Morris. You missed it earlier. Moving on over to the notable hitting performances. There you see Brooksley and Jenkins, who we highlighted, and then Jefferson Morales, who's having kind of quietly a nice season for the Wind Surge. Had a nice game there. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Again, the Curls postponed. Even the FCL Twins won. I think the DSL Twins were also postponed. So technically a system sweep. And then I don't want to leave you hanging on Monday. Usually, there are not any minor league games on Monday, and the Twins were off yesterday. But since it's the 4th of July week, they are kind of tweaking the minor leagues on the lower, everybody but AAA, the lower 3 full season leagues. They actually played on Monday. So really quick, just going to give you the information. The Wind Surge scored 12 runs in a win, and the Mighty Muscles scored 9, but the Colonels got shut out. Here are the starting pitching lines from Monday again. Aaron Rozek continues to pitch well for Wichita, and he's like 28 years old. I'd love to see him get more of a look in St. Paul. Cesar Laris had he's bouncing back from a little bit of trouble. He had a nicer start than he's been having of late. And then on the hitting side, there were your notable hitting performances, and just kind of want to add noticing a D. Pena in there for Fort Myers. It's not Demiri Pena. He's still with the FCL Twins. Demiri Pena, talked about that too on my prospect list video. How I'm so excited to, once he gets promoted to Fort Myers and Mighty Muscles, and we get to watch him. I'm really excited to be able to watch that guy on a regular basis. So when I started to see D. Pena pop up in some of those Mighty Muscles box scores, I got really excited. But Daniel Pena, a 19-year-old catcher though in the Florida State League, and he had a home run on Monday. So not to brush him completely aside, but I will admit I was not. I didn't see Daniel Pena there was a bit of a letdown when I saw it was Daniel Pena, not Demiri Pena. But soon enough, he'll be up soon enough. But anyway, thanks so much for checking this one out. I really appreciate you. We'll talk again soon.